Hi everyone. As you are writing and revising your argument synthesis this week, I would like to talk a little bit about expectations for that assignment. So the first thing that I want you to notice is that I'm in our course, but I'm under the MLA Help tab. I'll show you just a couple of things about MLA during this video, and then I'll upload another video about MLA and how to cite sources on your works cited and in your argument synthesis and research argument. So the thing that I want to talk about first is the format of your paper, and there is another video about this that I would like for you to watch. So if you scroll down, video, MLA format, and attributive tags, that is applicable to this assignment and all of your assignments because it talks about the format of your paper. So if we pull up the student example of the argument synthesis that's under the course content tab, what you'll notice about this example is that the MLA format in it is correct. So the heading is over here. It only has name, professor name, class, and date. The date is in military format, 24th March 2015. There's one space between the date and the title. The title is centered, capitalized, and it's not bold or bigger or anything like that. And then there's one space in between the title and the first paragraph, which is indented. 1-inch margins all around, and then last name before the page number. So this is something that you really want to pay attention to and make sure that it's correct. Okay, so the other thing that I'll talk about just very briefly is, we'll go over all of these highlighted things in just a second, is the works cited page. Notice that works cited is at the very top of the page and centered. The W and the C are capitalized, and there's no bold, it's not big, it's not underlined, and there's one space between the works cited and the very first entry here. The other thing I need you to know about this example and some of the examples on Blackboard is that it uses the old style of citing for the works cited. So that's something I need to update. You will no longer have this word web and two dates for the most part on your works cited entries that are web entries. So just kind of take note of that, pay attention to that. Okay, so if you go up to the top of this example, there are a couple of different things that I want to point out other than the MLA format. One is the organization of your argument synthesis. That should be based upon the outline that was attached to Journal 3, which was the classical argument outline. Now, if you're using some other type of outline, that's fine overall, but you want to make sure that it is organized in a way that is easy to read and understandable. Okay, so this particular example used the classical argument outline, and what you'll notice is all of your thesis statements, this one is highlighted in yellow, should be the last sentence of your introduction paragraph or paragraphs. Okay, your thesis statement helps you to organize your entire paper, so it contains your opinion and all of your reasons or your causes or your effects or your causes and effects. It really just depends upon what you're arguing, but it should give the reader a good idea of all the main things you're going to say in the body of your paper. Okay, so in this case, students should participate in extracurricular activities. That is the opinion because, and then the 3 reasons are listed there. Students will benefit from higher self-esteem, people skills, and increased academic performance. So what you'll notice about the very first paragraph in the body of the essay is that it restates that very first reason that is listed in the thesis statement, and it provides what we call a transition. So a word like first or second or additionally or moreover, all of those are transitional words, and they help your reader to move on through your paper. So this one says, first, positive self-esteem can give a student the power to believe in him or herself. So it restates that word self-esteem that was right there in the thesis statement. So that's something that you want to provide as your first sentence, which should be a topic/transition sentence. I'm going to skip past this just to talk about organization now, and I'll come back to it. So the second point is given here, and this is transition word second, and then social skills is the word that was used in the thesis statement. And then there is a third one at the top, environmental influences, academic performance. Sorry. But what I want you to notice here is after you're done presenting your own reasons, causes, and or effects, there should always be a section in your paper where you address those who oppose you, those who disagree. You should have at least 2 of those. Usually you can have more if you have a very argumentative topic. But what you want to make sure is that first you summarize this person's or these people's opinions for your reader so they understand what the opposing view says and why. And then you want to address that, and you still want to support your own opinion. So just like in a conversation you might have with someone, if they disagree with you, you're not just going to walk away and say, oh, okay, most of the time. You're going to respond, and you're going to, still sort of try to convince them that what you think is important. Sometimes you might concede. Sometimes other opinions are very valid and understandable. But even when you concede, there's probably some reason why you personally still hold the opinion you have. So you probably think that some of your reasons are more important than the opposing view's reasons. Or you think it's something that should be addressed first before we address what the opposing view says, or something to that effect. So even when you concede that the other side has a valid point, you still want to try to support your own opinion. So you want to spend a good amount of time on that. And you can certainly use sources to support your opinion in this section as well. And then what you'll notice is that you'll always have a last paragraph here that is a conclusion paragraph, okay? And the conclusion should definitely be a re-summing up of the rest of your paper. So it's like taking your thesis and rewording it in a different way, reminding your reader of the important things that you said, and often leaving them with sort of a lasting impression, something to think about, something to do even. So you might call them to action, or call them for more research, or something to that effect. So that is the format of your paper, and also the organization of it. Organization can really be helped along by having a clear and strong thesis statement. So please go back to Journal 3 where I gave you feedback. If I told you you need to work on your thesis statement, then you probably need to work on organization. The other thing that is highlighted in this is something that I'll cover in the next video, which is attributive tags and how to introduce your sources and use in-text citations within your argument synthesis. So what you need to know about the requirements for the argument synthesis, you are required to have 2 sources minimum, but you should make sure you are evaluating those sources. They can't all just be like random, YouTube videos or something like that. It needs to be something that's legitimate. So you will want to make sure that you're evaluating your sources. So I'm going to go back to MLA Help tab, and under that you'll notice there is a link for how to evaluate websites and online sources. And there's a whole guide here. It's kind of basic, but it will help you to determine the authority, bias, content, coverage, and currency of a particular source or site online. You want to try to stay away from biased sources, meaning sources that are particularly opinionated, especially when they don't cite their sources. If it's just an opinion and there's no, they don't refer back to any of their support, then that's something you want to be aware of. That's probably not a great source to use. Content coverage and currency are also important, and you want to make sure you know who's responsible for the content. The website domain is maybe something to think about a little bit, but don't get too mired down in it. There are plenty of .coms and .orgs that are great sources, but you just have to make sure you evaluate them. Okay. Going back to the MLA Help tab, one thing I'd like to point out as far as finding sources for your argument synthesis, if you don't already have 2 or you'd like to add more, EBSCO right here is a database that we offer from OCTC that is really great, and it offers journal articles. Those are what we call scholarly sources, and I'll talk more about the difference between scholarly and popular sources in the next video. But for your 8-page research argument where you're required to have 8 sources or more, you will need to have a good mix of scholarly and popular sources. So this is where you can find scholarly articles. Okay, so if you have any questions about the argument synthesis, please let me know. You do have plenty of time to revise, so please take that time to make your paper as good as possible. You'll be using this paper again, the whole thing, when you add to it to create your 8-page research argument. So you want to make sure this one is as good as you can get it so that you're working only on the next 4 pages and not having to work on revising what you've already done. So if you want to make it a little bit longer, add a few more sources so that you won't have to work as hard at the end of the semester. I highly recommend it, especially for those of you that have a lot of classes and finals. So again, if you have questions, let me know. Thank you.